But Connor can run, and he can break tackles, and he can do those things too, can't he? So
yeah, I think he is. I think he's more of a complete package of what fullbacks have become nowadays. Whereas Jamie Shaw's more your sort of traditional fullback sort of player. But yeah, I think Jake Connor at fullback is an exciting prospect. And yes, it was really disappointing that Griffin was ruled out at the last minute because of his brother's COVID test result. But actually, it then meant that we had the chance to have Connor at fullback, who does offer considerably more than Griffin does at fullback.
I would say, there's praise for Last there from David, but I would say that made me question Andy Last when he seems determined to play Connor at 6 when we've seen him be really influential from fullback ever since he was forced into that position midway through a game a few weeks ago, and also still probably been better in the centres than he's played at 6 for Hull over kind of a consistent basis. That was a question mark still for me around Andy Last, whereas I don't have a question mark about Connor at fullback at the moment. Maybe defensively slightly less aware than Shaw is about making sure people are in the right places, but
yeah, I think that is definitely a thing. But I think part of Connor is I don't know, he's a player that's well, we see, don't we, that he's very influenced by his temperament, isn't he?
And Scott Taylor was... Oh, sorry.
And when he's not enjoying the game, it doesn't really matter where he's playing.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I said that a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you agree with this, Sarah, that Connor is never going to have consistently great performances back to back to back to back. I don't feel like he's never going to run the game every week consistently, so he's never going to give you he's never going to fulfill what he can be at halfback, where you kind of have to be consistent throughout games and across games, whereas at fullback he can consistently produce match winning moments. I think more at fullback because he's not expected to perform a match-winning performance, so he can do what he's good at, which is producing match-winning moments.
Yeah, possibly.
So, any particular try, your favourite one in this one, Sarah? I mean, you scored quite a few.
I mean, obviously the build-up for the first one was a nice one. The second one, where it all sort of seemed to go a little bit wrong, and then Connor just put his toe on the ball, and Beretta was there to score.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It just showed the skills of both players, really. So yeah, it felt like it was a solid performance, but not a spectacular performance. You kind of wanted them to kick on a bit more, maybe be a bit more clinical with how many points we scored against them. But
it did feel like the game had some intensity in it. It didn't feel like an also-ran game. It didn't feel like a meaningless game for Rovers, even though they weren't that great.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, like the first half, I couldn't believe how quickly it seemed to fly by, which is a sign of a good game, I guess.
And for Rovers, Ben Crooks got his try, so I kind of feel like we have to include him now on the Super League Pod Dream Team voting form, because it's got a pretty good record this year of scoring tries. So every credit to him for the try scoring, not the bleached hair. But yeah, Al, did you have anything to add on this one?
All I really wanted to say was it was actually quite close early on. And for me, it felt like it was kind of KR errors that put themselves under pressure, and FC were good enough to take advantage of it, and that's how it felt like for the game. KR made too many errors, and FC were good enough with kind of Connor's kind of control to actually take advantage of it. So yeah, obviously, any win, a 1 point win is a good win in the derby, obviously. But yeah, there's some positive sides for FC that they might not, they might do pretty well in the playoffs when it comes down to it. if they can keep Connor firing, and that's the enigma that is Jake Connor, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're into knockout football now, so we'll see how they perform at that level. Sarah, you've got more action to look forward to as a Hull FC fan, and I'm sure we'll have you back on to talk about that in time. But thanks for being back a part of the show. It's been great to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great.
Quick Nick Rawlsthorne stats update before we move into the other game. Then only 9 players have a worse tackle success rate than him who've appeared in Super League games this season so far, and 362 have a better 362 have a better tackle success rate. Right, anyway.
He's not having a good year.
No. Do you want to take us through the game that preceded the derby then, the Hull derby then, the first game on Thursday night, the one you got right?
The one I got right, but for the wrong reasons. It finished Leeds 6, Wakefield 30. It was 20-0 to Wakefield at half-time. Ben Thaler was in charge of this one. Actually, Wakey made 1 fewer break, but more crucially perhaps made 6 fewer errors, made 198 more metres, made more tackle busts and successful offloads, and had a 2.1% better team tackle success rate. So for Wakefield, Eddie Batty with 159 metres and a good swan dive as well. Innes Senior with 2 tries, a try assist, 152 metres and 3 clean breaks. Max Jowett with the hat-trick of tries at 149 metres, and David Fafita with a try, 8 tackle busts, 128 metres and 4 offloads. For Leeds, it wasn't all bad. Ash Landley with a try, 9 tackle busts, 202 metres and 3 clean breaks. Jack Walker with 144 metres. Liam Sutcliffe with a try assist, 113 metres and 2 clean breaks. And Brad Dwyer with 45 tackles, 12 of which were from marker.
Yeah, there was a disciplinary matter cleared up out of this game. Alex Mellor got a grade C striking charge, a 2-match penalty notice. That was for the high shot on Ryan Hampshire, which he got sin-binned for the back end of the game in this one. And then Max Jowett got 3 Albert Goldthorpe points, David Fafita got 2, and Reece Lynn got 1. I must admit, I had only half an eye on this game because we were having some forced fun in the shape of a Halloween quiz with work over like a Circuit is the video conferencing calling app of choice at my office, which is a stupid decision because it's shit. But so I only had half an eye on it, but my half an eye did take in the first 2 Max Jowett tries, which were just fantastic, and the fact that they were on both sides of the pitch, like one up the right and then one up the left, just made it show that they were being brilliant across the pitch. Although Innes Senior was really fucking nervous when he got through, weren't he?
It was like he didn't quite know what to do.
He'd not been in that position before for Wakefield.
No, and it was like, like when everything that's in his head is being exhibited in his actions.
Yeah.
So he was like, right, keep the ball here, do this, get the ball in that position, right, got to beat the full back, am I holding it, am I doing this? He did it perfectly, but you could see all his, his working.
Yeah.
Which was really good, really good. Before we talk about it, we should talk, Paul O'Brien got in touch. And we should say a great performance from Wakefield, good in both defence and attack. Chester must be wondering where these performances have been. I would completely agree with that. Because they were very good.
Was someone to come out and say the team were against Chester? Because they came out and proved it with 3 successive wins, and in this one they blew Leeds off the pitch in the first half.
Yeah, because again, I caught up with this later, but obviously it's very hard to avoid the score. And when I saw the score, I thought, Leeds have thrown the kids in. But they hadn't.
No.
They really hadn't.
Apart from the COVID-affected players, so I'm not sure exactly which players it was, but I'm pretty certain Tom Briscoe, Conrad Hurrell, Matt Pryor were three of them, and maybe Richie Myler was the fourth. Because he's not in, but I kind of expected him to not play in this game anyway. But yeah, they would be my guesses.
Wasn't Myler already banned, or had that not come to?
Yeah, but I don't think Myler played in the second game either. Is why I'm thinking it might be Myler.
Yeah, it might be. Anyway, yeah. But it was still a reasonably strong kind of Rhinos team. But yeah, you're right. Wakefield just blew them off the park. They were doing what Wakefield have done in the last 3 weeks, which is just throw the ball around, and it's working. And yeah, I mean, Reece Lynn is looking like otherworldly, isn't he? Recently,
he's playing like he played 2 years ago. Well, for the last 2 years actually, he's playing like he's played for the last 2 years, which he wasn't playing like that for the first half of this season. But the last month, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, definitely on the list of best centres of the year, I would say. But
see, I wouldn't have him on that list, right? The reason I wouldn't have him on that list is because I think he's done it for 4 games. But in those 4 games, were they that good that they put him up the list? Is I suppose the question we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I mean, bright spots for Leeds. Handley is a handful, as usual.
He made nearly 500 metres this week in the 2 games he played on Thursday and Sunday combined. We'll get to Sunday in a minute. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well done to Wakefield. Definitely shown that Chris Chester has still got the support of the dressing room heading into 2021. Moving on to Friday, and do you know what? I watched this game and I can't remember it hardly, but it was Warrington versus Huddersfield. 19 a change to Warrington versus Castleford that we were expecting to talk about, but yeah, 19 points to 12 in favour of the Wire. It finished up. It was 8 points to 6 at half time. Rob Hicks was the referee. Wire made nearly 500 more metres at 1.8 metres per carry better average gain, with 5 more breaks too, plus a big 5.5% better average gain. So probably should have won by more. Individually, Toby King had 6 tackle busts, 177 metres. He's definitely a centre in contention for centre of the year. Anthony Gelling, 1 try, 7 tackle busts, 151 metres. 3 offloads. Chris Hill, 176 metres. And Darrell Clark, 2 tries, 42 tackles, 6 tackle busts. For Huddersfield, the machine was fully primed again this week, well oiled. Well ready to go. Mike Lawrence, 63 tackles, 17 of which were marker tackles, 115 metres to boot. It's not even a shock anymore. Brandon Moore, 1 try assist, 65 tackles, 11 marker tackles. Chris McQueen, 152 metres, 2 clean breaks. And Ash Golding, 5 tackle busts, 137 metres. And we did get a fan view on this one as well.
Did so. Lee Whitnell said, straight after nilling those pesky Salford upstarts with 4 tries and 4 conversions from Captain Chris Hill, I thought they were all drop goals, Lee. But anyway, in a sensational 11 out of 10 performance, all 17 lads immediately backed up Huddersfield to the sword. I thought you were playing them both at once. They were on 2 pitches at once. This performance was slightly less impressive, but I'm sure they were tired. Widdop's left-foot drop goal was exactly the type of composed play we paid the big bucks for. Pity he's not staying.
It's a bit of a surprise for me that the Albert Goldthorpe points went the way they did, with 3 to Clark, which I'm not disputing, but then 2 Huddersfield players, 2 to Wardle and 1 to Lawrence. Not that we don't absolutely love Jake Wardle at SLP, and not that Mike Lawrence isn't the machine, but I sort of thought more credit might have gone to some of the Wolves players, because it did feel to me that every time I looked up, they were in dominant field position, but maybe the fact that they didn't capitalise sufficiently, especially in the first half, on that dominant field position is maybe why it went that way. But I did feel Toby King had another really good game. I thought Cooper and Hill were very good in this one. So, adding Darrell Clark and the whole front row was exceptional for Warrington, I thought.
Yeah, I only watched this in the extended highlights, so I don't have masses to say about it. Yeah,